Right, okay everyone, I am about to start putting together some of the combat patrol. I'm going to start off with the Captain in Terminator Armour, which I'm really looking forward to both building and later on painting. Good thing is, Space Marines are a very good model to practice your painting on in general. I don't know what colour scheme I'm going for, but I'll decide that as I get, a bit further along. Okay, so push fit model. So all we really need at this point are some clippers and a cleaning tool. Personally, I do find Games Workshop's tools to be very, very good quality, particularly their snippers. I do tend to find that their snippers work very well. They really get like nice clean edges on them. So what we'll do is we're going to start off by getting number 14 out, which is the body. Now, for those of you who are new to cleaning up models, just pay careful attention to things like this. So these are our attachment points for push fit. And sometimes it's hard to tell where the mold injection point is, sometimes compared to what is like a pin effectively. So just be careful, look very carefully at the way that the join is and make sure that you snip only where you're supposed to. There are some models that I've come across in the past where the injection point will lead onto a very brittle part of the model, say here, or it will be hard to tell where the injection point is and the actual model begins. So, just take your time, don't rush it, basically. Now, I'm going to get 13 and 12 out as well, so here's number 12 again. Just kind of be careful, and again, looking here, you can see how this is like a curved part of the armor. It's sometimes a good idea to give yourself, actually, if you're not confident to cut straight away, cut it off with a bit of the webbing, and then later on tidy it up. So I'll show you how you might do that in 1 second. And then of course we've got part 13 here. Again, just be mindful if you don't feel that you want to cut close to begin with, cut a bit further away, and then you can just kind of clip it back later. So taking this piece, for example, I've gone a little bit further out, and now that I can get into a different position, I'm going to go in. Okay. Now, cleaning up your model. So a good tool like this is, very useful. As you can see, it's got a nice heavy flat part, and it's also got a curved part with kind of like a gradual gradient to it. And then you've got also this here. Now, pay careful attention to the direction of the model. Also be very careful while using a tool like this, because it's very easy to accidentally scrape off a major detail. I can't count the number of rivets that I've accidentally shaved off going too fast. Okay, and again, where you've got like a curved part of the armor, make sure you use the curved part of the tool. Now, what you can do as well, if you need to, you can also get things like hobby files. So I've got one here. And, if you've got some fine files, helps if I don't drop things. If you're still unhappy, just gently file them away. You've got bits like that, you see, you can sometimes best off just filing them down rather than trying to cut them. But, again, you've got to make sure that any kind of joints are perfectly done. Okay, so I'm just going to speed it up now because I won't talk talk through the same process again, but you can see here just getting the offcuts done. Now, I find it too difficult to shave that way, and if you did it this way, it wouldn't work. So it's okay to use the flat, just let the natural curve of the model be the guide as you go, and it'll clean it up nicely. Now, other things to check for while you're doing this are mold lines. Now, I don't see any immediately obvious on this, but it's definitely worth looking through just carefully to see if there's any obvious mold lines. So I can see one running here. A lot of people that I know are obsessive about cleaning up mold lines. Like, they literally cannot have any on the model they're about to paint. And other people will spend a very long time removing every single one. They're that obsessed with it. I try and strike a healthy balance because, quite frankly, I don't have hundreds of hours to get things perfect. I've got to actually get things done. So again, just look for any obvious mold lines, any areas of obvious roughness. Use things like scraping tools to clean them up, and files to, get rid of the worst of it. Right, a little bit under the arm there. One thing that I do like is the actual Terminator Armour. Games Workshop, when they were doing the Primaris, they could have said, right, time to completely redesign Terminator Armour. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they just upscaled it. Terminator Armour is, it's just a, there's no other way to put it. I think from their first initial design, they just came up with well, I say first initial design. This is obviously not the first initial design of Terminator Armour, but they basically created a Terminator Armour pattern appearance very early on in Warhammer 40k's history, and it just worked. And sometimes you just don't change things that work. And the good thing is we've got variants of Terminator Armour now in the Horus Heresy. Right, 15 and 16 need coming out. Now, 16 being the sword arm. Again, watch out with these sword arms. They'll frequently have injection points in very sensitive areas, like the end of that skull there. That one is an absolute pain to clean up and not damage the shape of the skull. So again, just, take your time. Yeah, watch out while you're cleaning these kind of parts. Brace parts like this, ideally against your finger. Please be careful though, particularly if you've only got knives to clean up with. I know some people that do only have knives to clean up with, and of course, I've learned from my mistakes when I've sliced my thumb very deep at one point. I had to go to the hospital for that. Okay. Again, find the fit. So just kind of gently tease them in. You can see that this won't hold in place until the pauldron is on. With this one, again, just take your time, follow the natural curve of the armour in order to clean it up. sure I've got everything cleaned up there. I feel like I've missed something. Convinced I've... Okay, fair enough, I mustn't have done. If you've never watched my videos before, me dropping things is just a very common thing. Unfortunately, you can see I've got my gloves on today to support my wrists. I'm having a really bad day for my chronic pain. Okay, let's get this slid in now. Okay, now it should have like kind of optimal place that it slides into. Should be no gaps within the model on these push fit ones. Well, in general, but particularly on these push fit ones. Okay, now we need to get to the other side. So we need 18 and 19. Got 19, which is the lovely stone bolter. Again, you can see it's one of those where the injection point goes quite close to the model. So again, I'm just going to take my time getting towards it. Okay. And then 18, this other side of the stone bolter. Right, so it should be okay now. Just finish off these last bits. Again, try and follow the natural curves of the model. Be careful when you're doing the end of things like guns. Okay. So get these two parts of the stone bolter together, and you're going to have to try and make sure that there's no gap, because it'll just make the whole weapon look a bit odd. And then we need number 17, which is our other shoulder guard. I have to admit, one thing that I did learn from building Stonecasts is Stonecast Eternals from Stormbringer. Some of the kits were awful to put together. It feels like a bit more thought has been put into making these easier to do. But we will learn more as we get deeper into this, if that's the case for all of them. Now, just have a look at this one, because it feels... let's make sure I've got this part nice and correctly in before I start slotting it all. See, it feels like it goes like that and slides in there. There we go. Okay, we are coming on to the end of this one now. So we've got 21 and 22, which is our front greaves. I think that's the correct term to use for these. Feet and greaves. I think that's got to be called. Again, just make sure you're putting these on the correct side too. Yeah, I think as a push fit model goes, the parts definitely feel like easy to put together. I said I've known some push fits were trying to kind of squeeze them into the right places. Well, shocking about how bad it is. Right, instant bad point personally about this model, and I'm going to raise this now. I do not like the fact that I've only got one choice of head. That to me is annoying. I love a bit of variety. You know, give me a helmeted head. Come on, you know, give me the choice. I mean, aside from anything else, I'm pretty certain that being bareheaded is a bad idea in most battle situations, but there we go. Now, just be careful when you're putting in a part like this, okay? It sometimes will be difficult to slot it in easily. Just do not be tempted to hold this part of the model while you're slotting it in, no matter how hard you're finding it, because that is a recipe for breakages. Don't feel right the fact that I've got these horrible gloves on, but as I said, I'm struggling with my pain flare-ups at the moment, so I need the extra support for a bit. Right, and then he will slot into this base. Like so. Now, just one last little bit. It'd help if I hadn't misplaced his base, wouldn't it? Oh gosh, what am I like? Let me check my closet, my drawer of mystery. It's probably in here. Yeah. What am I like? Make sure I've got all my parts out before I start my videos, eh? And here we go. Slot that into there, and there we have it. That is a captain in Terminator Armour, and it's absolutely amazing. Just to kind of give you an idea of scale, so obviously they put him up on high. This is a cataphracti Terminator. This is, you know, regular Terminator. Well, 40k. Basically, it's Terminator Armour 10,000 years apart in history. You can clearly see scale-wise, you know, the Primaris and the up-to-date Terminator Armour, you know, quite frankly, towers. You know, it does. It's really big compared to this stuff here. Yeah, you can actually see the difference it makes. I also think it's good to actually compare him potentially to a special character. So here's Alexis Pollux, who is considered to be big for a Space Marine during the Horus Heresy era. And again, you know, actually, to be fair, considering he is not in Terminator Armour, actually he cuts a pretty impressive figure, doesn't he, Alexis? He actually does, kind of. Of course, he's never going to quite match someone in Terminator Armour, but I have to admit, you know, he's probably coming quite close, isn't he? Anyway, so there we go. That's your Terminator Armoured Captain, and what a wonderful model he is. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.